This dirty little bastard, this fucking dog, just keeps making bangers. And he's going to tell us exactly every MMO he played in 2025. That's right. A PNG dog knows more about MMOs than you do. And you have to live with that fact. He's so good at MMOs, he has his own personal squad of haters who show up to his videos on notification of them releasing just to dislike the videos. Wait, why is the dog crying already? Yeah, we're about to find out. We're about to find the fuck out why. Man, I don't know if you feel the way I do, but I hope you're doing better than I am currently when thinking about MMOs. So let's see. Bets on Soulman having played an MMO younger than 5. Hang on before you start. He's crying because he's so happy about the current state of MMOs, right? Yeah, say psych right now. I understand now what a genius Josh Strife Hayes is in particular, because all he does is cover old MMOs. Josh Strife Hayes is the giga brain of MMORPGs because he knew what was going to happen before it happened. And so he's fine. But the rest of us are fucked because we can't just copy him. He's too good. Discount Henry Cavill has covered an entire fucking market. He covered Dune recently. Are you serious? He did? That's not an MMO. Josh would be a good consultant for games companies. I wish he would consult for game companies. For MMOs. I really wish he would. He could save us. He's attractive enough to be MMO Jesus. And you know what? He's attractive enough that when he speaks to these people in these offices, they would just immediately believe him. When obviously they're not slipping all over the floor from everyone just gushing. They don't want to hear what he'd say. Probably not. Probably not. Send you a card so you could play along. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. We're playing bingo here. Is that how this works? Ooh. Ooh. Okay. That's dirty. Okay. Okay, let's see. I love how MMORPG players were all so stuck in the past. We're still making fucking tier lists. That's how lost we are. That's so bad. The 2012 called, they want their content back. It's so bad. Oh my god. We're fucked. Serving your customers doesn't make you a Fortune 500 company. True. Turning people into slaves does, though. Okay. Let's see what Soulman had to say.
Of reaching 50k subs, I have decided to make a very special video for all my lovely subscribers. And don't panic, I know everyone keeps asking, where's part 2 of Old School RuneScape? It's coming, alright? Along with some other videos I've...
You know what's really funny? Soulman started playing 100 hours of Old School RuneScape before all the streamers and stuff jumped over to start playing Old School RuneScape. And now I bet he gets comments under his videos of people just being like, you're just chasing a trend. You're just like all the other streamers. But he started before they all did that. That's the best part. But people will retroactively like correct their memory on that shit or not even look into it. That's my favorite part about it. It's the funniest shit. Is he started playing Old School RuneScape and then all these streamers hopped over to Old School RuneScape and now he's just gonna get lumped in with them. It's beautiful.
I promise it's coming.
So I'm coming day and night.
So you might be wondering, what sort of filler slop have I got for you today? Well, I am Slopman UK, and I'm making a tier list of every MMO I've ever played, in chronological order.
Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively...
The infinite content well. The infinite content well. You're on 1.25 speed because you speak slow. That's why.
tell people not to.
This might very well be the biggest MMO tier list on YouTube. Besides that.
Besides, yeah. I was about to say it. I was about to say it. Aside from that. This motherfucker. Just when you think you can keep up with Josh Drive Hayes, he does this. God damn it.
One Josh done, but we don't talk about Josh's list. Honestly, who even watches Josh Drive Hayes?
Oh god, there's a mud crab. No, I'm not dying to a mud crab. Not in the tutorial.
I'll be using the usual tier list ranking of S4, seriously good, and F4, get that the fuck out of here.
Wait, there's more.
And just
okay, let's make this simple. Let's start off this list. I want to see some predictions before this. Okay, WoW retail belongs right here in F tier. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. It's about D tier. It's not as bad as it could be. I promise you, if you think Blizzard can't make WoW retail worse, I bet you they can. I bet you fucking money that they can. Where would I put Guild Wars 2? It's not S tier. I've got a hot take for all of you. I don't think an S tier MMORPG actually exists. I don't think there is currently an S tier MMORPG, right? I would put WoW Classic. I'm updating my ranking from when Soulman made me do this. I would put WoW Classic over here in B tier. I would put Guild Wars 2 just barely out of B tier into A tier, and only because of Heart of Thorns. Only because of Heart of Thorns. I would put Old School RuneScape also here in A tier, unless you like attractive looking games. I would put Black Desert Online, from what little I've played of it, over here. I would put... God, where would I put... Fuck it, we'll get to them as he goes through them. We'll get to the rest as we go through them.
Some incentive to this video. Whichever MMO that I bring up today, which gets commented the most in the comment section.
Guild Wars 2 is in B, in my opinion. Completely fair take, I understand why you'd say that.
I will go back and revisit for a full 100-hour review. So if you like tier lists by 10 cynical dogs on the internet, or you just want to watch and tell me my opinion is wrong on which MMO that I like, then whack this on your second monitor, load up your favorite MMO, and get ready to be offended by all my opinions. Starting with the very first MMO that I ever played.
It's my wife when she wears the air cosplay. That's what's going to happen. Fantasy...
This was the first MMO.
Fuck. Absolutely deserved.
I played all
Don't
the way
at
back
me.
when I was a wee pup. And I know some people don't count this as a MMO, more of a MMO light, but for the sake of Soulman lore,
I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you. It's not F tier. It's not F tier. Phantasy Star PSO, I barely played, but from how I felt when I played it, it belongs here. It just didn't do it for me.
I'm going to keep this on the list. I can already hear the comment. Oh, look at this idiot. He put Phantasy Star Online on an MMO tier list. I also want to point out that even AI agrees with me. I remember this game fondly as it was such a new...
And as we know that AI, you know, it hallucinates 50% of the time. Yeah.
concept to me. It had player lobbies, had different roles. It was a bit grindy. I also remember not being able to cancel the £15 a month subscription cost through my Xbox, which meant I had to go to my bank and get it cancelled firsthand. When I told the bank teller I needed to cancel a online subscription, bear in mind I was a teenager at the time, he assumed I meant for some adult site.
Of course.
Like, no worries, happens to the best of us. To which I quickly corrected him and said, oh no, it's for an online game. Which somehow...
Yeah, he didn't have his wanking license yet. He's in the UK. You gotta have a license to touch yourself. Otherwise, he would have been arrested by the Bobby.
Feels worse to admit. Purely for nostalgia reasons and it having a lasting impact, I'm placing this MMO light as a B. Amazingly, this
Yeah,
was the
so. Oh, I'm sorry, Cash Shop Online deserves this. It deserves this. And you know the reason? So F tier, I very specifically, like, I've got a different ranking system in my head because I'm that retarded. I'm that neurodivergent. Where I would put at F tier is anything that's a scam. And do you know what that also means? Do you know what I also put? Right here, in E tier, Star Citizen. Especially after the recent updates.
first official MMO I remember playing. Not an MMO light, but a proper MMO. Despite playing online games at a very young age, I never really got into MMO RPGs and pretty much skipped the golden era until recently.
You see, he's been playing the RPG side of the equation of MMORPGs, whereas I played the MMO side growing up with the RPG attached to it.
Bought ESO thinking it was going to be Skyrim Online.
Why is ESO disliked? Is it the cash up? It's the floaty combat, right? That feels like it's got no weight or impact. The weird movement, the ugly character models, the fact that 90% of the game is hidden behind the cash shop, the fact that ZeniMax refuses to fix any problems with the fucking game and just keeps on pushing more pay-to-win bullshit on you. That's why.
Killing the mammoth. I'm right up in it.
I see.
Yeah.
This is
Quite literally, if Skyrim was an MMORPG, it would be a better MMORPG than ESO.
I just got one shot.
It wasn't. But despite not being a proper Bethesda title, I did play it for 8 years plus. The plus being I actually played the beta of this game. The PvP that ESO had to offer had a lasting memory on me. It's the sole reason I dusted off my...
You see, a lasting memory. Just like, you know, Father Daniel's in the church when no one else was there and it was just you and him. It wasn't a good memory, but it was a memory.
YouTube channel and started to make content. I played on both servers on Xbox and PC and made plenty of friends along the way. But sadly, playing this game for so long has made me more aware of predatory practices and what incompetence looks like when running a supposedly AAA title. As much as I used to love it, I can't get over how badly run this MMO is today. From the creative director's wife actively insulting PvP players...
Keep in mind, Dogrog, when I'm giving my ratings, I'm giving my ratings based on what the game currently is. Not on what it is in the past, what it currently is. I forgot this thing about... What the fuck is this? What is this? You're pulling me off track here.
You have accessibility issues in PvP zones. Have to delay. Can't essay. Yeah. Wah, wah, wah. Okay. They're working on that too. Nice try. I have no sympathy for, but that's because, no sympathy for PvP, but that's because I know they are working on it. They're working on it.
Man, don't you love it when the people working on it say, wah, 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 fuck you? Doesn't that make you really feel heard as a gamer?
Ability issues in PvP zones have to delay.
Oh, look, it's the same fucking video.
Yeah. Wah, wah, wah. Okay.
Oh, look.
They're working on that
Perfect
too.
timing, Jimmy.
Nice try. I have no sympathy for, but that's because, no sympathy for PvP, but that's because I know they are working on it.
To having 26 community managers for a game which barely has content creators, throwing a lack of meaningful updates.
Barely has content creators. I don't think so. This is people generally don't like the idea of streamers being like the measure of how popular a game is, right? But I think that this is kind of like a good litmus test. It doesn't tell you everything, but it tells you the overall vibe of what people think about the game. If people really cared and loved about it, the subsection of people who stream the game would be a lot larger than it actually is. Not sure how to explain that in a chat message. Basically, they refuse to fix an issue in ESO's World versus World equivalent. Yep. And they never will. Wah.
Throwing a lack of meaningful updates, a wind down to work on a now cancelled MMO. It truly is a clusterfuck. I would rate this MMO a strong D for don't bother.
D for don't bother. Fight me. Fight me, Soul Man. It's E tier. Your nostalgia goggles on. Soulman's out here. He's stealing my name. He's out here with his rose-tinted goggles on, and he's just telling all of you, I remember the days when ESO was a fun game. Meh. Back in my day, there was only 50% of the game that was in the cash shop.
Don't waste your time. If the management changes, then it might get better. But for now, I have no intention of returning unless I hit some milestone like 100k subs, which won't be for a while. New World is like that one friend you want to do well in life, but somehow, despite having everything handed to them, they manage.
Oof, before he get, oof. Ah, fuck, man, I've got an intimate history. Oh, fuck, I just realized I didn't have this here. We'll go back a little bit. Just so you know, I have a very intimate history with New World. I've been there since the beginning. I got so hyped for this game. I was so excited for New World. It belongs right here. At the bottom, actually, no, it doesn't. It belongs right here at the bottom of D tier. Just barely. Just barely not E tier. Just fucking barely. I have such intimate knowledge of New World. And it's such a bad fucking game. And the thing is, it's a game that could have been good, but didn't live up to its potential. And also, thank you for the Pharaoh Feral. I did see that. We can't see where New World is. Hey, neither can the devs. That's not your fault. This is where New World is. And this is where the New World devs belong. Right? Is right here. Because imagine fucking your game up. Yes, hidden behind the chat. That's where I'm putting the marker for where New World is, right? Right here. So, the devs of New World are such fucking pieces of shit that what they did was instead of fixing their fucking game, they decided we've rinsed the PC community through the fucking floor, so instead of fixing our game, let's go fuck up the console idiots as well. They could have spent their time No Man's Skying their game. And instead, they were like, you know what? Let's milk this fucking cash cow. Now that we've lost all goodwill with PC players, let's go fuck up the people on console as well. And re-release the game as New World Eternum, which is essentially the same as Overwatch 2. I'm banned in New World. Yeah, that's because you shouldn't have milked that cow. That cow. You shouldn't have milked it. That's your fault. They put a mechanic in the game and you milked the cow and now you're fucked. New World looked so promising. Here's the issue. New World had all the potential it needed to be an amazing game and lived up to none of it. That's its issue. It's the smart kid in school who, after graduating, you check on him 3 years later, and he's the crack addict behind the Walmart sucking dick for $5. That's who New World is. The potential still exists, but it will never be realized. And so it's the bottom of E tier for, E tier. What am I doing putting in D? Holy shit. Actually, no, D is right. Good mechanics, not enough.
Milestone like 100k subs, which won't be for a while. New World is like that one friend you want to do well in life, but somehow, despite having everything handed to them, they managed to budget up.
Yeah.
You done messed up, Aaron!
It had all the potential, all the financial backing, and what came out in the end was a half-cooked MMO that didn't know what it wanted to be.
With client-side authority. Let's not forget the client-side authority, where you could click and drag your window around the screen, and your character becomes invincible if you did it in the middle of a dodge roll.
Over the years, it did get better, until about 2024, when they basically shut the bed and abandoned the PC players.
Yep.
And they did this by leaving a bunch of bugs in the game still, providing no new content, and no real roadmap. All because they were working on something big in the background, which basically everyone knew was the console release.
Why do we have to wait until June? Why has there been such a lack of investment into the PvP?
You can see that they're outside because they've been kicked out of the development offices for being so fucking bad at their job.
Aspect, can we please get an update on cross-server 3v3?
But they didn't just come out and say that, they kept making out they couldn't tell you. And there's a lot of really fucking dumb videos published by the devs.
It destroys us that we can't give you the information that you want. We'd love to talk about this, but sometimes you have to look at what's best for the long term.
Basically, they lied. They were like, it's a secret, shh, I can't tell, and then they just didn't have anything they could tell you. They knew nothing.
Health of the game against some of the short-term gains. And it's awful, and I know it's not what you want to hear.
And if you can't talk about it, the best thing to do is just not talk about it.
Is to shut the fuck up. If you can't talk about anything, don't go do a fucking Q&A. Just shut the fuck up. What are you doing outside the office? Keep deving your game, not taking fucking interviews. Jesus Christ, Amazon. Infinite well of money. Couldn't figure this out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited for that too. Like, there's just so much that we've been doing and working on, and it's great, and all of that for it to come out. The really cool and exciting thing for people who have purchased the game already, purchased the Rising expansion.
Not sure if you guys in AGS noticed, but the 1st of April is not 17 days, it's the 1st of June. You need to take your eyes off a tournament, put your eyes on the player count and the state of the game. We waited 2 weeks for this so that half of the video would be without sound. Is this a joke? You know that guy who stood up at the Blizzard thing that basically is one of the reasons they no longer do BlizzCon in person? The red shirt guy, and said, is this an out of season April Fool's joke? That is literally every single person in these comments.
But worst of all, when the update did release, there was nothing new for PC players.
Yep.
So they had to sit there even longer to wait for new content. I'm surprised they still have an audience, and that probably is down to the fact that the combat is actually enjoyable. The PvP is fun. The crafting...
The actual gameplay. So the actual gameplay of the combat is good. The crafting systems are fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for the follow, Constant Walker. I feel like whenever a studio trots out the devs for marketing, and one of them is an obese woman, that's a key red flag. You always know you're in for something bad. No, I don't think so. To be honest, I don't blame her, because that office was full of a bunch of fucking nerds. And the problem is, you can have the world's best devs working on a game. If the retard in management... Look, okay, so people don't know the intimate history of New World, but essentially, this is what happened, is the guy who was in control of the development of the game was a fucking book salesman who basically made all his entire career selling books on Amazon, and somehow he's the one who gets in charge of AGS. And then you've got a bunch of exceptional devs who know what they're doing. And what this retard says is, if you want to make any changes to the game and run any changes that would make the game better past me, I want a fucking 3-page document explaining why we should do this. Then add that to the fact that this fucking retard up here all of a sudden changes New World and the entire genre of what the fucking game is between when people loved it when it was in alpha and it was a game that was like an open world, full loot, build your own settlements kind of game, into a more theme park MMO. Do you know why? Because Mr. fucking book salesman at the top was like, you know what's a really popular game is World of Warcraft. We should be like World of Warcraft. Because that worked out great for every WoW killer in the past, didn't it? I'm so passionately angry at fucking New World for even existing. Yeah, let me hold on. I'm gonna put this somewhere where you can see it. Where's the line? Okay. New World belongs here, and the only redeemable qualities it has is its combat and its crafting. And it's such a good foundation for an MMO. And they fucked all of it up by never living up to that potential.
I personally quite like, but I know it can get tedious, And to be honest, it is quite a good looking MMO. There's a lot of good about New World.
Yes.
It's just that it's so badly run that
Yes.
you probably should avoid it.
Also, the story fucking sucked. The story elements of the game is fucked. Is it salvageable? No. No, because it can't live up to its potential. Isabella could have been such a good lore anchor for the game. And she's there for one fucking dungeon at the end. Barely any story elements, barely any tie-in to the world. There's barely any background lore of actual Eternum. You know what the best part? Yeah, you want to know what the best thing that New World has ever made is? This is the best thing that has ever come out of New World.
Yet, Elstrom lives. I always said that I was destined to rule forever, but I never dared dream that I was speaking literally. Even death itself is humble before my radiant majesty.
Go watch the secret. Go watch this. Go watch Secret Level.
I seem to be immortal too. Well, you must be protected by the corona of my magnificence.
The Secret Level episode of New World was the best thing that's ever come out of New World. It was actually a fucking banger of an episode. And yet Aelstrom lives. And I don't understand how some fucking Secret Level guy who's a director can take one episode and make a better story than the entire game of New World. That's the best thing that came out of that game.
And simply because how bad management was for this game, I'm rating it a D tier.
So you want a non-MMO to stream. I'm still thinking about it, Cyro, but I'm open to the idea.
MMO. And I hate to admit it.
D tier? D tier next to ESO? How dare you? No, look, these two belong right next to each other. So I'm okay with that ranking. Understandable, have a nice day.
If the new Lord of the Rings MMO by Amazon is just New World but with a Lord of the Rings skin on top, I'm 100% playing it.
Yes, same.
I played this game.
Penis, fucking Penis Online. I've played Penis Online. Mortal Online's biggest problem is that the only people playing that game left are super fucking sweats that will destroy you. It's such an ultra grindy game. The graphics aren't bad. The systems aren't bad. But there is no one playing it because it's such a frustrating experience. Which makes me feel like it also belongs in D tier. Mortal Online 2 belongs right here. D tier.
I had some friends who wouldn't shut up about it.
Didn't they update it and it's revived? I don't know. If Mortal Online has been updated, I wouldn't know about it, but I'm basing this off of my most recent experiences of it.
And I did a video on it, which honestly is one of the best adverts I've seen for this game. I've spent over 500 hours playing this title across 2 different accounts, and probably well over 2,000 hours watching people play it on Twitch. I was honestly obsessed with the in-game politics at one point that I was just constantly watching. If you've never heard of Mortal Online 2, it's a full loot open world PvP with UE5, and most important,
Sawman's about to make a mistake. Sawman is about to review the people who played the game, not the game itself. Watch. I bet you he ranks it higher than D tier, and the mistake he's making is that he's reviewing the people who played the game, not the game itself. Watch.
importantly, voice over IP, and you are very much encouraged to communicate with other players to actually get ahead in this game.
Wait, before you attack me, know one thing. I could fight all of you with ease, but more importantly, that horse is gonna die! Horse! Stupid horse! Still horse! Die horse! Stupid... I'm gonna kill that stupid horse of yours! Oh, okay. I'm gonna kill that stupid horse of yours! Oh,
I guess they don't want to let you live.
Do you see?
And it has a...
Do you see? He's about to review the people who played the game, not the game itself. That's the mistake he's about to make.
first-person perspective, which you're forced to play in. This is by far one of the best and worst MMOs I've ever played. The community is hilarious.
You may not have breasts, you may own a cock. When Tom's in Badoo, Tom asks, why not?
And there really is a sense of immersion which you just don't get from any other MMO. Sadly though, the combat is janky, there are a lot of bugs, and it probably isn't the best run MMO ever. Player numbers have been dwindling for quite some time, and honestly, I don't know how long it's going to be around for. I honestly think it's probably one of the best MMO experiences you can have, but it's just not for everyone, and it really does show. I would love to put this title as S tier because honestly, it'll make you cry of laughter, but also frustrate the fuck out of you.
The players will make you cry of laughter. The players make the game fun. You know what, if you played Fallout 76, what was the most fun part about Fallout 76? It was the other players, not the game.
It's a buggy mess that definitely needs some work, and if you are looking for a replacement of Ultimate Online, then this is the next step forward. But as I said, I have to knock it down a bit, so I'm going to say this is a solid B tier title for me.
Damn it! See, do you see? I fucking knew it. I fucking knew he was going to review the people in the game, not the game itself. I called it. I knew it.
Embers Adrift is a
this is one I haven't played.
MMO with a focus on low fantasy, mainly PvE, classic style MMO gameplay.
Disgusting!
When I first played this,
thanks for the follow, Lucius Zaros. Watch where he puts Worm Online. I haven't played Worm Online, so I can't have an opinion on that one. I haven't played Embers Adrift either.
Over 2 years ago now, they had a box price and a sub price, both of which were quite high and probably well overpriced for what the game had to offer. I was quite harsh in my initial assessment because of this. However, they have been making changes, and the subscription is now optional with a much cheaper box price. Since then, I've played a lot of old school MMOs, and if anything, I now appreciate what they were trying to do and the nostalgia they were trying to recapture. And honestly, there might still be hope for this title. I don't think it's awful, but I also don't think it's a...
I need one of those Facebook things where it says, I'm in this video and I don't like it. That was disgusting. I didn't need to see that.
Huge game changer either. So for that reason, I'm rating it a solid C tier. Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings Online is a game that I've had in the back of my head for years and I've never touched it. And I'm considering playing it.
Online is a game that I was pleasantly surprised by. I was always under the assumption that it barely had a player base and was hanging on for dear life. However, I was wrong. It's still going strong today and even gets updates and new content, which is mighty impressive for an 18-year-old title. So who exactly is still playing Lord of the Rings Online, you might be wondering? Well, it has a very chilled and laid-back community who like to do PvE and immerse themselves in Lord of the Rings lore. Despite having a cash shop, it is free to play, and you can even earn the in-game currency to buy stuff from the cash shop, such as DLC. One of the most recent...
It looks well-themed. I can give it that. Lord of the Rings Online always looked very well-themed for what Lord of the Rings actually was, which is hilarious because when Amazon, if they ever manage to release their Lord of the Rings MMO, this will be a direct comparator. And if this fucking game is better than it, everyone should shit on them harder than they shit on Pirate Software. Idle just did a 100-hour review for it today. When do you all you people sit around and are part of the MMO council? Where do I get my membership from, for fuck's sakes? Because it seems like you're all on the same brainwave and you're like sitting around in a dark room like you're the MMO Illuminati deciding which fucking title you're all covering next. God damn it. I keep missing these meetings.
Updates actually let you up the difficulty of the overland. So if you are bored of the game and fancy a challenge, well, just make it harder. It's a great game. It's not going to set the world alight, but I'd say it's a solid C-tier game. Definitely worth a try.
Okay, Neverwinter. Ooh, Neverwinter. Now, I haven't played that much Neverwinter. It's mostly a nostalgia trip for me. It's been years since I thought about Neverwinter. Gameplay's okay. A little bit convoluted. Chunky graphics. Missing a bunch of components. Very strange story elements. I'm going to put it in C. I'd say C tier. It's been a very long time since I touched it, so I'm going based off of memories.
Stripe Haze used to like. I was excited to try Neverwinter, especially given the fact that at the time of playing, I had just recently played the early access of Baldur's Gate 3. This was my first introduction to the slop that is Cryptic Studio, and oh boy, was it sloppy.
I played this game for 30 hours and I have 70 loot boxes sat in my inventory, goading me on, trying to get me to gamble
This is why I said my opinion on this one's very outdated.
away my money to try and get a new mount, a new cosmetic, or whatever the fuck else. If you offer someone a cigarette, they're not necessarily going to smoke it, but if you give them a whole pack of cigarettes and put it in their pocket and then keep giving them packs, eventually they're probably going to cave. And that's what it feels like with these loot boxes.
Apparently, just like Pirate Software, I had a second puberty. The leveling was very static, you had to do certain quests to level up, and there was no grinding per se. There was a heavy emphasis on loot boxes and shiny mounts. The combat wasn't too bad, to be honest. However, after quitting ESO, a very heavily monetized MMO, this gave me the same vibes and ick, just without the same level of fun. So yes, I did not enjoy Neverwinter.
The cinematics were cool though. The cinematics were awesome for Neverwinter.
Therefore, I'm rating it a disappointing E.
Ooh.
Next slop.
Understandable, take his opinion over mine because he's got a more updated opinion on Neverwinter. It's been a while since I looked at that.
Next game was Star Trek Online. Now, being somewhat of a Star Trek fan, I mean, I say that, but I hate Deep Space Nine. That was so boring. Ooh, look at me float here and do absolutely nothing. I was looking forward...
Again, another game I haven't played. I wasn't big enough of a nerd to get into Star Trek. I was like, why is there an elf in space? And that's when someone I knew was like, did you just call a Vulcan an elf? And I was like, okay, I'm never touching this shit.
to playing this. However, it was another title by Cryptic Studios, and it had all the same monetization of loot boxes and shiny ships, and it was just very off-putting. Despite that though, there did seem to be a bit of a different feel about this title. I liked the ship combat, it reminded me of the Bethesda classic Star Trek Legacy. The storytelling was pretty immersive, and it wasn't too janky. Also, it has one of the best character creators I've ever seen today. Sadly though, the player base is, well, kind of dead, and I feel like it will never be a popular title.
Do you see the problem with all the old MMOs? They're all just in the trash. They're like in the bargain bin, and you pick up something out of the bargain bin every now and then. But you're never like, oh wow, this is incredible.
So, as far as MMOs go, I'd say this is a solid D-tier MMO. One of the most talked about...
He's going to put this in F tier, and it deserves to be there. The only reason I don't put it in F tier is because I reserve F tier for an outright scam. And to be honest, Star Citizen is so fucking close to being an outright scam. This fucking game is so evil with its monetization. By the way, this is a personal conspiracy theory that I hold about Star Citizen, is that it is too profitable of a game to ever leave alpha. My personal headcanon conspiracy tinfoil hat theory is that they know that their game is dead if it ever fully releases. And so they will continue to keep it in alpha forever so that they can continue to milk people of money. And remember, people have given these people over $500 million.
Well, Kickstarter MMOs is of course Star Citizen. The amount of money that has been sunk into this game is the equivalent of a small country's annual GDP. And I know this because I looked it up. Imagine a game where you can fly anywhere in the galaxy, do jobs, buy gear, talk to people, and just have a jolly old good space time.
800 million. They're still giving it money. Is there like some fucking oil sheikh son in the Middle East who's just playing these games because he can buy all the spaceships? Why is it dead on arrival though? Because once the game is released, it is in what would players would perceive as a completed game state, and therefore they'd see no reason to continue to support it. If a chef is in the back of a kitchen with his ass cheeks spread over your dinner plate, and he says, just give me money and your food will be out soon, you might continue to give him money. But if he's already shit on your plate, you're probably not going to give him money. If it's in a completed state, that you've got no reason to have the hope that it's gonna get better in the future. Look at it that way.
Citizen aims to be a super immersive, in-depth sci-fi MMO. There aren't any aliens though, just humans colonizing the galaxy. On paper, this game sounds amazing,
but in reality, it's a metaverse. It's a crypto metaverse project.
Practice.
Oh shit! Now it is. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. You hit the. Oh god! What the fuck is going on?
You're good. Just kidding.
Wow, the sandwiches must be really popular here because all the NPCs are also here.
Yep.
Yep, this is perfectly normal.
Half the NPCs clipping through the floor, getting stuck on random surfaces, falling through the bottom of the elevator because it didn't render into it first, getting run over by the train, standing in the train and clipping through it, and then falling through the bottom of the map. Do you know how many times my character woke up in the fucking hospital? Honestly, I felt like maybe I had cancer inside my brain in the game. And somehow it transitioned out of the game and into my actual fucking head. That's the state it's in. I have some fun on this game with friends, and they've added a ton, but definitely needs more coherent experience. You see, this is the thing, Jazz. You just told me you had fun on this game because of your friends. I'm willing to bet if you and your friends picked up something else, you would still have fun because your friends are fun. That's why I know for a fact that his Mortal Online experience was fun because of the people playing it, not because of the game itself.
Well, I guess they need more funding. This is a game that I'm sure I will constantly come back and revisit just to check out the progress. I like the idea of this game. It just needs some more time to cook. Every time I've played it, I've enjoyed myself.
I'm going to be working on a video on this game. When I've got my Dune video done, I'm thinking about doing another Star Citizen video. But I might place that after doing the Heart of Thorns video that I'm going to work on for Guild Wars 2.
So it does seem to slightly improve. I'm not about to main an alpha. This is a strong C-tier MMO, and I hope...
Fuck off. Fuck off. No fucking way. No fucking way. I can't believe you put it that high. Look how desperate he is for something good. Fucking copium. We're all fucked. I mean, I never paid more than box price and enjoyed it. You mean the $40 for the spaceship? Look, this is the thing, right? I'm having these opinions, but you got to remember, this list is Sawman's personal opinion. This list is my personal opinion. So you can't really get mad at it because different people are going to like different things. For instance, I personally don't like having a cactus shoved inside my rectum. But there are other people who played ESO for 8 years.
One day it gets completed. 2023 was the first time ever I played World of Warcraft, and even then it was classic WoW during the peak popularity of the hardcore add-on. I went in as a noob and I got to see a lot of oddities that I've just not seen before, like queuing up to a world boss.
What do you do in that situation if someone cuts in front? Is that what you do? You just manage it like by socially shunning people?
Yes.
Is that what you can do?
I like the...
There used to be social consequences in vanilla WoW. If you were a dickhead, everyone on the server knew who that dickhead was, and eventually they would become so isolated that they couldn't play the game anymore. Or they would be a rogue in Hellfire Ramparts in TBC, screwing over everyone on the opposite faction, and everyone in their own faction loved them for it because they thought it was really funny. There used to be such cool shit you could do in WoW in the past. And now it's all gone.
Combat, I loved the lore, and playing it at such a popular time felt like a new MMO release. I don't think I experienced anything negative whilst playing.
You gonna die? Are you fucking shitting me?
Ripping spaghetti, I can't believe you got killed by the centaurs. Pro gamer, huh? The centaurs, really? You left the starter area and immediately died? This is why there's mean comments under your videos. And the best part is, the mean comments are probably by the guys who died to the scorpions in the beginner area.
You fucking cuckbags! You actual fucking cuckbags! I played on a couple of different characters, with my highest being a level 20 orc, who, by the way, never died. And overall, I had a very wholesome experience. It felt good to be part of a live community where everyone was playing the same MMO and enjoying it.
For a little while, yeah.
I had a good time. And unlike a lot of people, I just don't have any nostalgia when it comes to World of Warcraft. So it's not like my judgment is being clouded. Another fun fact, I have never played retail WoW. In fact, let's make this a bit more.
You know, back in my day, WoW used to be an exceptional game. Back in my day, I played WoW retail and there was nothing better. Nothing came close. The community was untouchable. The immersion gameplay was amazing. The people you were surrounded with was something incredible. We had not figured out how to fuck up visual progression in MMORPGs back then. So when you saw someone with some badass gear, you knew they were a fucking badass. Guess what? I got good enough at PvP in TBC on my hunter just for the shoulder piece. And I walked around with the most badass looking shoulder pieces, and I would get whispered about it. Because people were like, I know how fucking hard it is to get that gear. You impress me. And it felt so good. It felt so goddamn good. And now, it's a memory. It's gone. Grandpa's on life support. Grandpa keeps on reliving his the olden days. WoW keeps on being like, you know, back in and then it's a flashback and you're playing WoW Classic.
More interesting, if this video gets 2,069 likes, I will play retail WoW for the first time and do a 100-hour review.
Okay, so I already know how that experience is going to go if he play. Wait, how many likes? 2069? Yeah, we got to make that happen. So, okay, someone needs to... if there's anyone in the chat who's in the UK, I'm going to ask you to do welfare checks on him when he's doing this. Because he might want to kill himself. Like, it's very important we take care of each other. Make all the jokes we want, but that's suicidal. Because what's going to happen is he's going to play 1 hour getting to max level and 99 hours in the last piece of content in the game going, what the fuck am I doing here?
And that is a promise. But as for Classic WoW, despite having played for over 50 hours, until I get fully immersed and play the whole game, I can't rate it any higher than a A-tier MMO. I can already hear the groans.
That's fair. That's fair. WoW Classic deserves to be there.
In the comment section, but I just generally feel like from what I've read in the past and seen...
WoW Classic has been such a banger. Do you want me to tell you how I know that WoW Classic is a banger? I'm going to play a sound. Brace yourself. If you played WoW during its golden era, and when you hear it, anyone who was around during the golden age of WoW is about to come in their pants. Your brain has been wired for dopamine alongside hearing that. That's how you know it's a fucking banger.
Seen with my own eyes.
Everyone knows.
This truly is a decent MMO. Classic WoW, that is. Retail WoW, well, we're yet to experience it. Before it shut down in the EU, I jumped in and played Arcade back in 2023.
Never played
is
this
such
one.
an in-depth MMO with loads of systems, life skills, and unique features.
Wait, actually, I might have played Arc Age, but I would count my opinion as invalid because if I can't even remember playing it, or like I'm questioning whether I did or didn't play it, I wouldn't trust it.
Features. You okay, pig? Yeah, let's dance together. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Green MMOs away. Oh my god, what happened? My god, what a glow up. Okay.
That's how politicians rank up in real life, by the way.
Age died due to bad management and essentially greed long before I got my hands on it. But I could see from my short time of playing it some of the cool features it had to offer. You can fly gliders, you can even drive cars.
Can you hear my music?
Yeah, go, drive. The fuck? I can't even see you. Oh no. Did he survive? Is he?
It's pretty sad to see him do a Princess Diana on himself like that. The Queen would be proud though.
It's hard to say if this game would still be alive if they hadn't killed it with its pay to win. From what I saw, it had good foundations, and has even gone on to inspire some other MMOs with some of its features. Personally, I quite like the game. I think it had a lot going for it, but you have to recognize that it is dead, and it's dead to over monetization. Realistically, this should be a D tier MMO because it was so heavily monetized.
No. There's one reason why it's at least a C tier MMO. I want to see if you can spot it.
Realistically, this should be a D tier MMO.
Do you see it? Enhance. Do you see it? It's the beginning. This is where it all began. The jiggle physics. They gave us something special. Those titties rattled so that video games today could jiggle. And for that reason alone, it deserves C tier.
Because it was so heavily monetized, but at the same time, it also died because of monetization, so I'm going to knock it down to E tier.
Oof.
Probably one of the greatest MMOs to be closed down, Star Wars Galaxies.
Ooh, Star Wars Galaxies. Oh, okay, this is pure nostalgia bait for me. I didn't play enough of it back in the day, and I wish I'd played more of it. But I would say, from my very outdated feelings of Star Wars Galaxies, I would put it in B tier.
Another victim of the Sony Online Entertainment demise. SWG had so many inspiring mechanics that have been copied to more modern MMOs to this day, and it's often looked back on quite fondly by many past players. It had a very unique and in-depth profession system where you could literally play however you wanted to. If you wanted to go be a starship captain, off you go. If you wanted to just be a...
Speaking of politics, you've seen what's been going on in Serbia. No, I have no idea what's going on in Serbia. I don't think anyone outside of Serbia knows what's going on in Serbia.
Answer, you could do that too. It's still playable via private servers, but it doesn't quite have the same audience and gravitas.
Doesn't have the same feel.
It's an MMO I wish I had more time to play, and maybe I'll do a 100-hour playthrough soon. But until then, I can only go by what other people have told me and the hours that I put in, which is about 20. And I'm going to have to say this is a A-tier MMO, with a potential to be S-tier.
Understandable. I understand why people... Okay, immediate. I love how he immediately makes you try to feel like this isn't a good MMO by showing you the naked, starving African fucking child instead of non-mommy naked. Rigged. This is rigged. Absolutely rigged. I'm sorry, how do you not open up on the character creator of the naked non-woman? Come on. Rigged.
This is the one that will get me in trouble. I've put many hours into Guild Wars 2, and for some reason, we just don't click. I like the ideas that they bring to the table, flying mount, jump puzzles, well, that's about it, really.
The mount, the dynamic movements of mounts and how they integrate into the game. Okay, so I'm going to take this from the perspective of Soulman has only played through Guild Wars 2 base game. And it is such a cliche and such a meme for me to say this, but the game gets so much better once you're not playing the base game. The story of the base game is missing so much. It's so fucking painfully bad. They've got such good ideas that they never fully flesh out, and the game only really feels like you start playing it once you've gotten to level 80, once you've gotten your masteries, once the story feels more integrated into the world. PvP was fun though.
I just want to say that I don't think the game does anything overly malicious. I just don't find it very interesting. It's not to say it's a bad MMO, it's just by no means an MMO that I'll enjoy. And that's okay, which is why I want to rank it a C tier, because I recognise that...
Guild Wars 2 is like Marmite. Guild Wars 2 is like Marmite. You're either going to like it or you're going to fucking hate it. And the base game is even worse. Because it's like they put a thin layer of shit on top of the Marmite. Wait, Asmund did a video on it months ago, I think, actually, interestingly. What you mean, Star Wars Galaxies? C is fair for Guild Wars 2. Personally, I rank it as A, but like I said in the beginning, only because of Heart of Thorns. I would put, if it wasn't Heart of Thorns and I was looking at the base game, I would probably put it in B tier. Right? Because I think the gameplay holds up. But the problem with the gameplay isn't your character and what you're able to do with your character. It's the fact that any of the mobs you fight, you're either getting 100 to 0'd in like a second, or you just fucking walk all over everything you're fighting.
It's okay. A prime example of why early access on Steam isn't always that great. I'm pretty sure last time I went to try and play this, the servers weren't even online, so they pretty much just took their money and run.
Yeah.
F tier.
Never played it. Don't even know.
Sonic kid who's like,
fuck this game. I had plans for Gloria Victis. I played a little bit of it, and I was like, I'm going to come back to this game and make a video. And when I was finally ready to come back and make a video about this game, they pulled the servers offline. And you know what would have stopped this from happening? Is the fucking stop killing games movement. But guess what? It's gone forever now.
Like, when we learn your actions have consequences. Gloria Victis, great idea, great concept.
Poor execution.
Unplayable, you can't get on it now. Once again, I've lost money.
Gone.
So, I mean, I like the idea of Gloria Victis. It's not going to be too harsh. I'm going to say it was D tier. It was flawed, but it had a good direction.
That's fair. You know what? I would probably agree with him on it being D tier from what I did play of Gloria Victis. I would put it there as well. Decent ideas, bad execution.
Yes, Conan Exiles, another top tier game by Funcom, who 100% don't make janky.
Wait, hold on. They pulled it months before you ever got back to it. I remember the street. Yeah. Okay, well, they pulled it months early. I'm still mad about it. Months is nothing to an MMO player. A few months is like yesterday. We don't live on the same timeline as normal human beings. That's why we sink thousands of hours into games like this.
Content.
What the hell is even that?
It was okay to play. I like the idea.
Yeah, it was okay.
The combat was certainly, well,
shitty.
You put the Dune Awakening combat.
Okay. I've been trying my best to not compare Conan Exiles to Dune Awakening, but I'm gonna be honest. Dune Awakening's combat feels just as chunky and just as shitty, except you've got more guns. And so I would put Conan Exiles right here. The D tier list is getting pretty fucking long. I feel like I should have spaced this out better. I'd say D tier.
That was bad. You should see Conan Exiles. I'm not gonna lie, it was fun. It's just that
it was fun.
It needed a lot more polish, and I know people still play it today. I did like the fact that, you know, you can beat a woman over the head and drag her to your camp and make her your slave. You come home with me.
Average Jeffrey Epstein experience.
All right, let's go.
You're my wife now, Dave. Legal gentlemen? No?
Too old.
Perfectly fine. I'm not going to get cancelled for this because it's in-game. Ah! We have plenty of rule. I was going to say, like, when I make the YouTube...
You know what we actually need? Just thinking about this, looking at Conan Exiles, we need a Red Dead Redemption, like a game that's an MMO but has Red Dead Redemption mechanics. That's what we need. It just reminded me of that because he hog-tied a bitch and was dragging her along the dirt. And I just remember that in Red Dead Redemption, you could grab some of the... people were like taking the feminists advocating for women's rights and like knocking them the fuck out and feeding them to alligators and stuff. There's a Red Dead Redemption Online though. No, I'm saying an MMO with Red Dead Redemption 2 mechanics. Not Red Dead Redemption itself.
YouTube video. I'm probably going to alienate the 4% of my audience who are actually female. All women are queens.
Literally exactly the same building style as Dune Awakening.
It just mirrors real world. So for that reason, actually, I'm going to put in D tier. I don't think it's awful. I actually think it could be good. It's just bad publisher. Listen, I like Final Fantasy. I played 7, 8, 9. I've talked about it enough times, and I did attempt to play Final Fantasy 14. I've got about 20 hours into it. I tried to make...
I've barely touched Final Fantasy 14, so I'm not even happy to, like, I'm not even going to think about giving an opinion on this one. Also because I don't want someone to firebomb my house because the Final Fantasy 14 people are fucking psychos. You know what's really interesting about Final Fantasy 14 and the way the game works? You go to a WoW player and you say to them, go find a WoW streamer and ask them about the community of World of Warcraft. And they will all be like, oh yeah, they're such toxic pieces of shit. They're fucking trash bags. Fucking hate them. Everyone's an asshole. And then you go to a Final Fantasy streamer and you ask them about the community and watch as they spend 10 minutes in dead silence trying to craft the perfect politically correct opinion to have no one send them death threats. You tell me what's worse.
make my character look like VV, and it was good. I enjoyed the time, but it just felt like there was a lot to do. It's very overwhelming as a new player, and it's hard to understand what direction you should go in. And I chose to be a black mage, which probably wasn't the most fun class to choose. Not that I minded it, it just felt a little bit...
It's pretty racist for him to choose a black mage and then say he couldn't get a job.
slow, I guess. Personally, I feel like I need to invest more time in Final Fantasy 14. I'm never going to call it S tier because I just haven't got enough time. And I see it as value. And I think a lot of people enjoy the social aspects of this game as well. So I'm going to put this as a B tier MMO with the potential to be better. Hopefully I'll be able to put more time in and do a 100-hour review. Another one on the list. I'm a busy dog, okay? I'm sorry.
I know what job means, dog.
But there's like 17 female classes and like...
If BDO was nothing but a game that was a character creator, it would belong right here. Because people sign in, create a character, whack off, and then leave. It's the best part of the game. It's the fucking best part of the game, and there's so little that comes even close to what BDO does. So little. It's incredible how many different characters there are to jerk off to. Just not that one. That one puts you on a list. Don't jerk off to that one.
Like 3 male classes. So it's really trying to make sure that everyone here, yo, guys, we're totally heterosexual. Let's choose a female character with big tits. That's us, man. We're such a BDO.
I will say, it was a pretty brave decision by the devs of BDO to only include female characters in the game. Like, that you can't play as a man. I do think that was a very interesting decision.
That we love big titted anime girls. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Who needs story? It's all about that grind. I'm on
the
grind. Look at me.
It's all about her grinding on your face.
I like to grind. Ooh, I'm so good at grinding.
A strong E tier MMO. I would put it as F, but the combat was actually enjoyable.
Oh my god. The only thing you're grinding down is the calluses on your hand against your dick playing that game. Honestly, I think it deserves a little bit better. I think it deserves C tier, but that's just me. The reason I think it deserves C tier is purely because the combat Feels more like I'm playing an arcade fighting game than an actual MMO, and I think that's an interesting concept.
That's very
Wait, for real? There's no male classes. Yeah, go check. Go check BDO right now. You'll see there's no men in that game. There's just attractive women with tits and unattractive women. They didn't put any men in the game.
I think I enjoyed the backstory of City of Heroes more than I did playing it. If that makes sense.
No,
I feel like it's a real underdog tale, and I really.
Plus, I said it's completely unrelated. Don't worry about it, Dubba.
This does carry on like thriving and gaining a bigger player base. Personally, I didn't quite like the mechanics and the combat. I like the idea of it, but I feel like it's probably just a bit lost on me.
City of Heroes. Oof. Fuck, I played a little bit of that and I couldn't stand it. City of Heroes I put here. Sorry. It's just not that great.
Take anything away from it though, because they've done wonders over the years, and the fact that they have managed to revive it. I mean, I'm going to say it's a C-tier MMO. It's not for me, but I definitely see why people like it.
I can't get into it.
I actually quite like the look and feel.
Oh, hello.
I didn't mind the fact that it was 2D. I thought the story was pretty good. Yes, there's AI voice acting, which I know is the devil, so I'm not allowed to like that.
AI voice acting. Give it 5 years. And the AI voice acting will be better than the actual voice actors. We're seeing that happen in anime right now because people who do dubs for anime keep on putting their fucking political opinions in it.
Apparently. But the flip side is there is another version of this game called Raven Quest, which is a blockchain crypto game, essentially. And the concern is that Raven Dawn will be abandoned for Raven Quest because Raven Quest makes a lot of money. And so it doesn't quite sit with me, the fact that they do have the second version, which is obviously blockchain technology, latest crypto bro jargon. I'm just not confident recommending this game to anyone because it just feels like some sort of shady rug pull. So I'm going to rate this F tier. Is Star Wars the old...
Oh, this one is going to hurt people. No matter where you put SWTOR on a tier list, someone's going to be mad. Solid C. Solid C tier. It's good. Strong story tie-ins. BioWare knew what they were doing with the decision wheel. Alien space titties. Space bikinis everywhere. Decent design. But just not a banger. The combat's trash. The combat's just real floaty and weird and doesn't feel that comfortable, even for a tab targeting system.
Old Republic better than Star Wars Galaxies? No. Is it still a good MMO? Yes. It's a very story-based MMO, and it's very easy to forget that it is an MMO because you can pretty much solo this whole entire game.
This is a single-player space RPG that happens to have MMO elements.
But it does have a lot of good MMO mechanics. It has housing, it has raids, it has PvP, and it has seasonal events and even a battle pass. On paper, if you're a Star Wars fan, this should tick all the right boxes. But for me though, it's just too far back on the Star Wars timeline.
I know,
I find it hard to really get into it. I know the Old Republic is popular in literature, but when it comes to modern day media, there's not really that much covering it. Don't get me wrong, I did enjoy role-playing as a fat Mandalorian, but it's still not enough to make me bump it up the tier list. So for now, I'm putting it as a C-tier MMO.
Solid C. 100% agree. Solid C. Good, just not good enough. Ooh, D&D Online. I didn't play this. I thought this was basically the same as Neverwinter. I may have confused the titles.
I feel sorry for Dungeons & Dragons Online because it's by no means a horrible MMO, it's just not a very popular one. And it does feel somewhat abandoned. And I don't mean by the developers because they themselves are doing constant updates. What I mean is by the D&D community, because even though this game is free to play, there's literally no one playing.
Why would you ever play a D&D game when you can just play D&D? That's the real question you gotta ask. It might be a good game. And almost every single MMORPG is basically just a game of D&D. But if you're gonna just call your game D&D Online, I think that's immediately gonna like make it unappealing to certain D&D players. Because they're like, I'd rather sit around a table with my friends and be a dickhead and be a murder hobo.
Ain't it?
Yeah.
The game itself...
Can't believe it's still got more players than New World though. That's impressive.
Actually quite interesting. It's a lot more puzzle orientated than it is, fetch quest, which does make it a more engaging experience. However, I just simply haven't put enough time into it because it was a bit lonely playing by myself. I like MMOs because it's multiple people playing it, but this obviously felt very lonesome. So overall,
oh, by the way, if you want to really, really piss people off, who are like super D&D nerds, who like they get like super focused on like the 3 rule sets instead of like 5e or whatever. What you do is you put them in a room with a Baldur's Gate player who's never played D&D. And you ask them both the same question. How many dice do you need to play D&D? And you step back the second you hear the Baldur's Gate player say 1. Because there's about to be a fist fight.
I don't think it's a horrible game, but if no one else wants to play it, then why should I? I'm going to rate this a D tier. Dark Age of Camelot, the granddaddy to Elder Scrolls Online. Sadly, when I played this game, I played on a public server, which just
didn't even know about this one.
Whereas from what I hear, the private servers are a lot more populated and fun. But until I play on a private server, I can only go by my own personal experience and obviously what I've read up. So I'm going to rate this a C tier MMO. Rest assured, you Camelot fans, I will be playing on
Never played
on the Eden server in the near future.
PAX.
What can I say?
Easy. PAX Day is just shitty Valheim. Easy E tier.
About PAX
Easy.
Day that I haven't already said.
I watched Sawman suffer through this game. I watched him suffer through this. What's your opinion on Star Wars? Overall opinion? I'm kind of like an adjacent fan to Star Wars. I'm not that big of a fan of the where the like trajectory that the franchise has taken after Disney took over. If you want the best, genuinely the best stories that have ever been made in the Star Wars universe, you need to go and read the comics. All the Luke Skywalker comics were great. Like when I was a kid, this was like after the release of the movies and stuff. There used to be like a small comic store that I would walk to, and I used to buy none of the comics, but the dude in the store was cool, and he would let me like just chill there and let me like read comics, and he had a lot of the Star Wars ones, and they were fucking awesome. They were incredible.
In a video where I played it for 100 hours. Probably not too much extra. Just go watch that video. But overall, was it that horrible? That's an F tier? No, I'm going to rate it E tier. It still has
Also, the lore reasons for no one using Trocata are dumb as fuck.
value. Not quite F tier.
Not quite F tier. Yeah, it's about right.
When it comes to the Final Fantasy franchise, there's certain ones
Never played this one.
It's the ones that are old, brainy looking, with that PlayStation 2 nostalgia, or PS1 nostalgia. And Final Fantasy XI is just a stone throw away from the original Final Fantasy titles. None of this action, combat, tab targeting nonsense, no. It felt very much like you had to wait your turn to make a move.
Basically, it was just Pokemon with a different skin.
Even though it was technically tab targeting. I really enjoyed my time playing Final Fantasy XI, even though it was a ball ache to set up and was quite difficult to understand what was going on. Like, it really does need a better tutorial. But overall, I think just because the nostalgia, the look, the feel is a B tier MMO for me. And then
Wildstar is such a nostalgia trip. It was so far ahead of its time. And now I'm gonna hurt some feelings. Wildstar is a B tier MMO. Everyone like, you know how when you've got like an alcoholic in your family and everyone talks about them like they're a piece of fucking shit, or gets like really angry at them for not doing certain things, but then they die and everyone just says nothing but nice things about that person who's now dead. That's Wildstar. Everyone is scared to be like it had its problems. Everyone misses Wildstar, Everyone wishes Wildstar was back, but it's not a game without problems. Solid B tier. Correction, Wildstar was a B tier. It's gone now. Yeah, no, pretty much. It's a dead B tier game. Private servers, that's the only hope for it.
Never got to play Wildstar when it was alive, but I have, however, played on the private server and done my research. And it's actually devastating to think how much of a gem this game was and could have been if it just had a little bit more investment.
If there was a bunch of crazy fucking people with infinite money who would spend their time reviving Wildstar and then developing the game further using more modern MMORPG mechanics, Wildstar, I genuinely think, has the potential to be an A tier MMO, maybe even an S tier MMO. Just because of the baseline potential that this game actually had. If someone redevved this shit out by themselves and had the money to do it, they could make this into an S tier MMO. I genuinely believe that. But it's like the alcoholic in your family who died. Never lived up to their potential.
We're talking action combat, in-depth.
They were also ahead of their time when they told you that it's not the drunk drivers that are the problem, it's the drunk crashers on the road. And you said that just before you hit a family of 4.
Leveling system, large difficult raids, PvP, and of course everyone's favourite, housing. I genuinely and wholeheartedly think that if this game was to release tomorrow, it'll be one of the top 5 MMOs. I think it just released at a very awkward time and it just got punished for it.
By the way, too much focus on housing.
Luckily though, we do have the private servers which are being worked.
Oh my god, he had to show this character model. Oh my god. Do you know how many fat goth bitches I knew and like when I was younger who fucking played characters that looked exactly like this? I'm talking like these girls were like 15 and needed to book double seats on a plane. And all of them played this character with that body type. Every single one of them.
In some time, and obviously from my own play experience, I haven't played the complete game because the private servers are not complete yet. But hopefully they will be soon. So for now, I'm going to rate this a B tier MMO.
When the private servers are up and this game is complete, I will play Wildstar.
And potentially an even higher one. Worm Online was an experience, and it's a free one that anyone can do. I actually adore these types of games.
Never played this.
Because it's a world which you obviously create yourself, and it's not something that's easily done. It's something that takes time, and you have to put the effort in to see some output. I won't pretend it's not a bit janky and dated, because by all means, it is definitely that. But what it does have is a lot of soul, and it does have a great community also. Despite a lack of players, the community feel is there to be seen and witnessed by everyone. Worm Online claims to be a open world sandbox MMO RPG, and there's no doubt in my mind it achieves that tenfold.
I love the fact that he put fucking Minecraft music in the background for this.
So overall, I'm going to rate this a A-tier MMO. It is, however, quite the grind, and sadly, I just don't have the time to play it, but I still stick by my rating of A-tier. Fallen Earth, quite frankly, baffles
Never heard of this one either.
me, because it has everything it needs to be a great and popular MMO, but it simply isn't. In fact, it's so mismanaged that last I checked, the servers were down due to a fault, and they still haven't been brought back online. Like, how does this even happen in this day and age? But
it's because there's one guy running this whole game, that's how.
Management to one side, it is free to play, it's totally free, no cash shop or anything, and it has in the past died and come back, so it's a very volatile MMO to say the least. But if you're a fan of Fallout or just dystopian worlds in general, then honestly, it's worth checking out. That's assuming it comes back online. In fact, I'm probably going to rate it even lower now because I think it's probably dead. So, D for dead game.
Fair.
Cool.
Oh, okay. Core Punk has recently had an update. I've played Core Punk after the update and it feels a lot better. The update is very, very recent. The movement is faster. The interactions with the game feel better. It doesn't feel as molasses-like. The character creator still fucking sucks. The drops are better. So honestly, I'm going to hear you scream now. Don't abbreviate Core Punk, but I'm going to do it anyway. Honestly, on first impression of Core Punk after playing it, I would have put it as a D tier MMO. After the most recent update that it's gone through, I would say it's genuinely a C tier MMO. Core Punk is okay enough that it's a C tier MMO now. The updates that they recently had to the game fixed a lot of problems and made it feel less molasses-like, and it was much better. But the problem is, it only feels better because of how bad it used to feel. And that's not good enough.
Cyberpunk is a new MMO which is trying to approach the genre slightly differently.
Wait, it's free to play, but it doesn't have a cash shop. How does it even make money? No idea, Dog Rock. I'd need to look into the monetization of it.
A ARPG mixed with a MMO, mixed with a MOBA, mixed with whatever else it can think of. It's had mixed reactions because I don't think it's very solo friendly, which is 90% of the MMO market these days, and there are some difficult aspects to it. It's still in early access, so it's not quite complete, and there are a lot of features which are missing, but overall I'd say it's a good playing experience, and I'm going to put it as a C-tier MMO.
Fair.
Maybe when it releases more stuff, it can bump itself up the rankings. Entropia Universe is
But why don't you get a pen pad since you use Paint a lot? Probably not that expensive. One, because all my money is currently going to that, and I don't want to have to learn how to use a pen pad. If I was going to get anything, I'd get one of those MMO mouses, where it's actually a joystick with a bunch of keys on it and shit. I genuinely don't feel like figuring out how to use a pen pad, because then I've also got my mouse in my hand and I'm switching it out for a fucking pen and trying to draw on it. It's just easier for me to just get used to using a mouse and drawing in Paint.
Somewhat of a record holder. It holds a world record for the most expensive virtual item ever sold. It became the first video game with a built-in bank back in March.
Do you want me to tell you something really cool about games that use world records for the most expensive items ever sold? I'm not accusing this game of doing this, but I want you to know that it's actually a viral marketing tactic, that when you tell people you can earn real-world money playing our game, what they do is the company will develop a product, and then they will get someone from the company with company money to play on a private character and then pay for that product, and then get it to make a headline saying this one thing in this video game sold for $100,000 or whatever the fuck. And then that makes headlines, and that brings people into playing the game, because a bunch of retards think to themselves, damn, I can make money playing this game as well, because someone made $100,000, when actually it's just company money going from one person to the next and right back into the bank.
March 2009, when his application for a banking license was approved by the Swedish Financial Supervisory Authority. And it's the longest running play and earn MMO. And what I mean by this is that you can earn money just by playing the game. You get the in-game currency, which can be converted to real currency. It's crazy. Honestly, it's a really interesting design.
Sounds like Second Life.
However, as a game though, I just don't think it's that great. I don't even think it's more predatory than any other MMO out there. And to be honest, the community is great. There's a very friendly community. It's just I don't think the gameplay is that amazing. So for that reason, I'm rating it as a E-tier MMO.
All 5 Entropia players are going to be in his comments fucking with the death threats now. People who play games like Entropia Universe are ultra defensive over the games that they play, saying how good and amazing their game is. And they have every financial incentive on Earth to try to get people to never say that their game is shit or what's wrong with their game, because they're so scared of chasing away player number 6 that might play the game, who they can sell stuff to.
Haven and Half is a hardcore sandbox MMO.
That's
honestly
what the fuck is this?
I saw a comment which basically said, imagine if 2 devs had a touch of autism and made an MMO, you would get Haven and Half. Which honestly isn't a bad thing. It's so in-depth, it's great. Honestly, if you think Worm Online is complex, this is on a similar level, and it does it so well. I think the graphics and the fact that it is open world PvP will put a lot of people off, even though it's not always on PvP and there are consequences to your actions. And it is that complex, it will put a lot of people off. But personally, as someone who's been called artistic many a times, I think this is a great game. I would rate it a B-tier MMO. Obviously, there's always room for improvement, like not making me...
It looks fucking terrible. It looks terrible. But I don't know how it feels to play. Again, a fat bitch can look terrible. But if she's been eating hot dogs all day, she knows what to do with that tongue.
He died to a fucking swan. Essentially,
I'm dying. Help me.
Death by a fucking swan. Can you get any more British than that? But despite that, I still think...
Hold on. I'm going to add... I'm just going to open up a notepad here. Right? That was my stream plan. And I'm going to add certain MMORPGs to this list that I know he hasn't covered, that he might want to look at it in the future, but I've played these games, and I'm going to rank them as well. God, what was the other one?
I think is a very strong and solid MMO. Some people won't agree that Second Life is even a MMO, but in my book, it is a social MMO, so it goes on the list.
There was an entire, like I've said this before, there was an entire documentary in my country about the world's fattest woman who was running a brothel, and like she had made the perfect character that people went online to have online sex with, and it was so funny watching that documentary in my country and to find out how much money this woman was making when it went from showing her Second Life character being this like perfectly crafted, tits in the right place, ass ideal, and then it just cuts, hard cut onto her face, and she looked like Jabba the Hutt in a curtain. It was such a hard cut. And I feel like whoever edited that documentary together did it on purpose. It was so bad. My whole I watched this with my mom and my dad, and all three of us just started uncontrollably laughing at what we saw. We were such bad people that day. We were all going to hell. But it was so funny.
I'm sure this game has been on a lot of lists along with some of its player base. Now, I did rate this a very disturbing MMO due to some of its more seedy side, should we just say?
Hold on, where do you see MMOs in the future when it comes to the HUD or POV? Will third person be the way to go forever? Is it optimal view? I've never liked LOL style POV games. I think that each and every single MMO needs to choose their own unique POV that's going to work for the gameplay they're trying to express. So I think that's a secondary factor based on your gameplay, right? And we should have different POVs, because different people are going to enjoy different things. Generally speaking, though, most MMO players like seeing their character on screen, and so third person to top down will always be preferable to anything else. When it comes to the HUD, I think they've learned that, like a lot of MMO devs have learned their lesson from World of Warcraft, that if your HUD is too clunky and too like overly possessive of the screen, that it removes from the experience. And so I think HUDs are moving towards minimalism, and that's going to be both a good and a bad thing. I think that simplifies the gameplay loop. Okay, so ideal gameplay design for me is simple to learn, difficult to master, right? Give your character a whole bunch of things that are front-facing, that are easy for them to figure out. But at the same time, there's a bunch of nuances in the mechanics that take forever to master or figure out that make you an exceptional player. So, like, a good example of this would be Dark Souls. You've only got a limited amount of things that you can do with your character, but all the details, the grit mechanics, the dodging, the rolling, your iframes, the different weapons, how the timing of the attacks works, the telegraphing, your swing timers, the hitboxes, how you break down certain things is so fundamentally important, and there's so much you can learn about it. There's like, you can watch a 9-hour video on Dark Souls mechanics in combat, and like 3 hours are just based on what the light attack does to different enemies and how different enemies respond to it. But it's going to be very easy for someone to figure out, okay, that's the light attack, but not understand all the complex mechanics behind it. That's the best way forward, I think.
But I've seen a lot of positive things written about this game, and I do appreciate what it's trying to do. It's not a bad game, it's just a very up and down community. In fact, one of my favorite YouTubers covers this game off quite regularly, so shout out to Daniel.
Wait, can you hear me?
I can hear you, hi.
Oh, God!
What are you guys doing?
Oh, jeez! Oh, fucking Christ!
It is a great MMO, but it is obviously very monetized and a bit janky, and has a shady community.
I gotta try not to throw up. Give me a second. I didn't need to see that.
So I'm not going to rate it too high, but I'm going to say it's a D tier MMO. A social MMO with no chat boxes, but just deers.
I remember this game. I remember watching Soulman's video on this game. What a fucked up game.
Get older and can customize themselves with headdresses and stuff. I mean, it's a fucking acid trip if I'm being honest. This game is very peculiar. But I like what
I love how you put the Silent Hill music in the background here just because of how fucked up this game is. How fucking freakish it is.
Trying to do. And because it is so left of center, it shouldn't be punished for that. It should be rewarded for trying to be different. I'm going to rate this a C tier MMO. I don't understand the game, and I can't knock it down for being different, but I can't also rate it the best MMO ever.
Man, how did you not put that in E tier? Come on.
I just don't understand it, so C tier. Worlds.com was one of the first ever social MMOs ever created. Launched back in 1995, you can believe there's been some stories over the years. From online cults to David Bowie having his own...
This is all the games from when Soulman was going through his creepy arc, where he was looking for like the most fucked up MMOs. And anything that was similar to that. Watch what happens one day when Soulman discovers MUDs and the fucked up things that happen in MUDs. Oh, that's a video all on its own.
Own dedicated world. It is so dated, it's what makes it brilliant. I do fear, however, that this game is no longer playable because the servers have been down for quite some time now. You can access it in offline mode and basically explore this time capsule from way back when, but I won't let nostalgia cloud my judgment of this game. It was great at the time, but realistically, it's only been kept alive because there's a pattern behind virtual reality games, so I'm putting this as a E tier MMO.
Fair.
Is it fair?
Oh, Ashes of Creation. Oh my. Oh dear. Oh dear. Ooh. There are going to be so many people out there who are going to say this is going to be the next S tier MMORPG. And then there are going to be people out there who say this is dog shit, this is a scam, these fucking people are assholes, it's not true, $500 for the alpha key, or $200 or $100 or whatever the fuck they changed it to. MUDs is like, I'll tell you now, let me not get pulled off track here. Ashes of Creation, I've played it off stream. I've given feedback to a guy who basically bought me an alpha key and wanted to know my personal opinion on the game. Ashes of Creation, from what I played, I would put it here. However, if they can develop Star Citizen over here into a better experience for the single-player mechanics of the game and actually fulfill all the promises that they've made that they haven't currently done, it could potentially be B tier, and if they do it perfectly, A tier. But it's not an S tier MMO. Baseline, it's not an S tier MMO. Gimme said something. I don't know if anyone knows who Gimme is. He's the guy who plays RuneScape and makes RuneScape content. He said, I don't see the next biggest MMORPG ever being a game where it's go out and kill 50 fucking boars or whatever the fuck. And I've had a long, hard think about what he said. And I think he's right. Because it's a repetition of the same shit we've been playing for the last 30 years of our lives. But also, yeah, MUDs are like the amoeboid MMO. They're like a bunch of like text kind of stuff that people used to play that was essentially it's like the protozoa to what became MMORPGs. And I was lucky enough as a kid that I played some MUDs and I learned some of the fucked up stories of things that happen in MUDs. Certain stories about the targeting of children. That made me stop playing MUDs. Because at the time, I was a child. But yeah, MUDs are weird.
To judge a game that is still in alpha and a work in progress and charge $250 to test it. Abso-fucking-lutely. But let's not be too harsh, because there certainly is a shell of a title to be played. But what they've promised and what they've delivered and the timelines that keep changing,
Two different things.
It's all one big clusterfuck.
Two different
They've
things.
cultivated a very cult community who will not hear a bad thing about the game, which is hilarious because you won't hear any bad things about the game because every big content creator has stopped covering it off.
Yeah, everyone's kind of played Ashes, they hyped it up, and then they dropped it. So what's up, Noxy? How you doing? Have you noticed that there's no channel, no streamer, no big YouTuber currently hyping up Ashes of Creation? The biggest one they had was Narc. Where is Narc today? Where did Narc go? Where did Narc go? Did I put a link to his video here? I can't even see his fucking channel. Damn, this was when I didn't know how YouTube works. I didn't link it because I'm retarded. Where's Narc's channel? Huh? Where did Narc go? The biggest supporter. Gone. Evaporated. He knocked on the game and he vanished. After years of making videos on Ashes of Creation, Narc is gone. Gee, I wonder why. Asmongold's pretty good at this. That's how bad Narc felt playing Ashes of Creation. And he got in a bitch fight with who? Who fucking did this? Who was a little bitch to him? The man himself, the passion of the ferret, the actually my dad works at Blizzard, Pirate Software. Don't ever fucking tell me that that piece of shit Pirate Software hasn't had a real world effect on things. Because that motherfucker ruined people's lives and channels. And he falsely DMCA claimed anyone who went against him or made videos about him. And devs. Pirate said Ashes will release in a year. That was 6 months ago. Ashes of Creation is going to release in 6 years. Not 6 months. Yeah. The infinite lolcow. You know, I've thought about putting together like a big ass video on all the things that Pirate Software and all the people he fucked over. But I don't think it would be worth it. Because people have like memory hold the kind of fucked up things that Pirate Software has done. I saw you seen the V-Shoujo thing a few days ago. Did you see they posted, they shut it down? I saw it in my Discord. I've got it open here on a different tab and I'm going to take a look at it now.
I really enjoyed Narc claiming the desert wasn't real and then watching Steven have such a fiery reaction.
So it is total fucking bullshit that what the statements that the way he represented us and the game in his video. And again, I don't want to pick on Narc. Like,
where's the fucking game, Steven? Where's the game, Steven? You motherfucker. Put his head in a toilet and flush it a few times. Where's the game, Steven? No, couldn't take having to cover the development for another 10 years before release. Yeah, probably. Narc got literally bullied off the internet by Pirate Software and by Steven. Probably gonna watch the Mandalore one, yes. Moonstone.
okay, dude, go play another game, go enjoy your content creator career, go play Dark Souls, do you. That is, this is your life, brother. You go do you. But you left, you lit a match, and you threw it behind you, and you said, f you, Steven, f you, Ashes, and f you, developers. And that's f***ed up.
Narc being a 60k sub content creator with actual pizza boxes as his background, and Steven Sharif being someone who put $50 million into a MMO and is the CEO. Supposedly. I don't know if he is the CEO. It changes. I'm sure it's for tax reasons. Steven's...
Just for tax reasons. Wasn't Steven... Am I misremembering this? But wasn't Steven the same guy who was involved in a pyramid scheme in the past? Oh, sorry. They call it an MLM now. Wasn't he that same guy? You know what we need? We all need Narc to come back to the internet. And we need him to just, we need Narc to just one day, like, Ashes of Creation is done, right? It's all over. Pirate Software's failed. And then Narc just needs to come back to us. He needs to just come back online. And it's just this. It's just... I was right all along. That's what we need. That's what we need from Narc. He just needs to reappear. And then he could be like, fuck Pirate Software, fuck Steven, fuck all you lying rats. I was right. That's what we need. And it's going to be so goddamn funny. Can you imagine how many times Narc jerks off a day to watching what's happening to Pirate right now? After the fight he had with him.
Saw how long Star Citizen was taking to develop and was like, hold my beer. Ashes of Creation is the Belle Delphine of MMOs. Everyone on the internet was talking about it. There's constant teasing of what was going to be revealed, collabing with big content creators just to get the word out. And then, once it all got revealed,
nothing.
Well, it was just another set of tits. And unfortunately for Ashes of Creation, the internet is rife with tits. I think they spent too much time marketing this game as opposed to developing it, and that's why I'm going to be harsh and rate this a E-tier MMO. Let's be honest, this game is never going to be complete. They had the best intentions at the start, but it feels like they...
Ooh, so I rate it as a C-tier MMO because of the gameplay. I'm focusing purely on the gameplay. If I was to look at the management of the game, the way that it's treated its content creators, the way it's marketed itself, the money that people have spent to play a fucking alpha, that this game is going to be out in a year, you know, it sounds like a heartbound timeline, then I would absolutely put it in F tier. I agree. F tier. Sorry. But if I'm just basing this on the gameplay, C tier.
Lost their way as time has gone on. I look forward to my comment section. Another great MMO closed down way too soon.
You can't keep getting away with it!
It's like we need a movement to stop killing games or something.
Yeah.
I think this is a really good example of how to convert a single-player RPG into a MMO RPG. I played this title last year and also covered it off on a video, shameless plug, and honestly, it was such a refreshing experience. It's still playable through private servers, and although it's not as popular as it once was, there's still, once again, a strong community vibe. It's funny how these private servers just bring together the best of people.
Isn't it weird how certain private servers do a better job than the actual devs? Isn't it weird how a bunch of fat dudes in a basement somehow outperform these fucking paid shills? These paid pieces of shit who are like, well, I got a degree in game development. And there's just like some wizard in a basement in flip-flops who like does this across a keyboard and fixes everything.
I mean, it is free to play because it is on a private server and there's no like horrible monetization, it's great gameplay, and it will captivate you for hours. So,
oh, I know he has super.
S tier MMO.
Honestly, I don't know how he got around the ban. I recognize the name.
Another Sony online entertainment flop is The Matrix Online.
Matrix Online. Oh, fuck. Matrix Online, right here, E tier. What a miss. Disappointing.
It closed down quite some time ago, and there has been efforts to try and revive it with private servers, but the most we have is a server you can walk around, but can't do combat or questing, or not much really. It also brought to the table such innovations as in-game dungeon masters and being a continuation of the Matrix storyline. Therefore, it was considered canon by a lot of people. But there's so much competition from other MMOs, it didn't really hold a player base, and sadly, it died. So I can only rate it on what I've seen and what I've heard and the very brief amount that I've played. I'm going to give it a E tier MMO.
Based. Based. Maybe if I can keep agreeing with Sawman, I'll finally get into the Illuminati MMO meetings where they all decide to talk about the same topic at the same time. Because I'm out of that fucking loop. It's because the fat dudes in the basement don't disrupt each other's design process with 6 bajillion checks and must make a pamphlet to justify changes. Yeah, they're also not in trouble with HR. You know how it is. Like the fat wizard in the basement, he will never get a job in game dev because instead of sitting there passionately programming out of a game, he keeps on getting pulled into the HR meetings where the HR are just a bunch of fucking Karens who sit there saying, you make the people in the office feel uncomfortable. Do something about it. And the dude's like, I haven't even spoken to anyone in weeks. Exactly. And then he speaks to someone and then he gets called back into HR. We're going to have to let you go because you harassed a worker. It's like, I said hello. Exactly. That's exactly what happens to those fucking wizards. And then they go home and they make Dwarf Fortress. And then they make Minecraft.
Active Worlds is another social MMO back from the 2000s.
Not an MMO. This is another one of those like Second Life kind of games.
Which is once again pretty much dead. It's amazing. It's almost like something bigger took the place of social MMOs. It does have a small and active community who is still building worlds. But with the player base aging and no new blood coming into it, I wouldn't be surprised if the player base dies out before the actual game does. I'm rating this a D tier MMO. Believe it or not, this is the longest running MMO. I'm not even...
Oh, God. Fuck Hadia. I watched Soulman's video on this.
I'm joking. And it's a very social MMO. I played it briefly.
I blame the Lion King. I blame the Lion King for fucking up my generation. There's that one scene with Nala in the grass. And immediately after that came out, we could tell who the fucking freaks were in my school. Because everyone was like, yeah, that was a bit weird. And then there were certain dudes who were like, yeah, weird. Yeah. And you were like, you want to fuck the lion, don't you piece of shit? My generation has been destroyed by Disney movies. God damn it.
And yeah, eat it. When I first heard about Pantheon, I was very skeptical because it did feel a bit scammy.
I'm still skeptical. I'm still very skeptical about this, but I haven't played it.
As we say in the MMO industry. But unlike its Kickstarter MMO competition, this game actually made it to Steam in early access and it doesn't charge over $100 to play. It is still missing features and it is more of a old school MMO with a strong emphasis on grouping up with players.
Oh, Naked Green Lady, nice.
I know, wild. But if you like the old fundamental values of what MMORPG should be, then Pantheon might just be the game for you. But I did enjoy it and I do see its value. I'm going to rate this a B tier MMO.
Shockingly high. Maybe I need to try Pantheon at some point. Guild Wars 2 had a moment like that with that White Fox raptor skin. Where people wanted to fuck the mount. God. Don't tell me that.
Imagine if they made old school RuneScape.
I watched him play this on stream. I was lurking a lot. I was busy. But I had him open on the second monitor while I was working.
With good graphics.
Am I a joke to you?
Based South African content, by the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Brighter Shores. Slight caveat though, it's not finished. It is missing stuff like trading, grouping, guilds. You know, all the cool MMO stuff that people look for. So at the minute, it feels very much, well, it is early access, but very, very early access. But it has potential. And that's because it's being developed by Andrew Gower, the co-creator of RuneScape. So I won't be too harsh because there is time for it to improve. But for now, I'm rating it a D tier MMO.
If he's rating it a D tier and he's hoping it's going to improve, that means it belongs in E tier.
This next section is going to be very pirate themed and pirate heavy because I played about 5 or 6 pirate MMOs back to back for a video. So let's just smash these out. First up is Pirates.
Of all of these, Pirates of the Caribbean. That's where it belongs.
The Burning Sea. This one had a very unique economy to it. It was very player driven, and there was even open world PvP in some instances. It was an okay game, but it does lack a player base, and the tutorial wasn't that great. So I'm just going to rate...
If you want to play a pirate game, just go play Sea of Thieves. None of these are worth it. Just go play Sea of Thieves if you want a pirate game. The most based pirate game is one that's never going to exist. It's they take Assassin's Creed, Black Flag, and they make that into an MMO with those game mechanics, and that's never happening.
There's a D-tier MMO. Bounty Bay Online. What can I say about Bounty Bay Online? Not much. F-tier. I'm sure someone out there is a huge fan of Uncharted Waters. It just wasn't me. And it was...
You mean Skull and Bones? Yeah, I'm probably thinking of Skull and Bones. I probably... Fuck, I keep on mixing up names of things. But yeah, it's probably Skull and Bones. Hold on, let me check. Let me make sure. No, it's Sea of Thieves. I was thinking of Sea of Thieves. This is like probably one of the only ones. It's the closest you're going to get to an MMO that's pirate-based that's good. Never played Skull and Bones, so I don't know how good that is or not.
Better than Bounty Bay Online, and it does have that PlayStation 2 nostalgia graphics. But it is a E-tier MMO for me. Florenzia is certainly a pirate MMO. Just a very, very dull one.
Oh,
E-tier.
Man.
I'm sure some of you will question why this is on the list, but I do assure you, it is a MMO. It's just a very, very bad one. A quadruple A clusterfuck. And it is Ubisoft as well. So, do you know what? F-tier. At one point...
Hey, look at that, he covered.
Disney were on a roll when it came to making
F-tier.
MMOs, and Pirates of the Caribbean Online was certainly a decent one that they made.
Fuck out of my face. Fucking discount ass Temu bullshit fucking Kingdom Hearts ass looking motherfucker. Get out of my face. F-tier.
It was exciting, it was addictive, and they shut it down. Because why wouldn't you? You can still play it today on private servers. Pirates Online Legends is what it's called. Certainly worth checking out. I'm going to rate this a C-tier MMO. I'm sure a number of my viewers are into LEGO because, you know. But this MMO was aimed at a younger audience, and it did quite well. It's just the problem was they didn't really know how to monetize children back then.
I gotta be honest. My wife and I are like building up like an archive of like good movies for my kid to watch when she's old enough. And we watched the Lego movie, and I'm astounded at how not bad it is. I'm shocked at how not bad that fucking movie is. And it makes me think maybe the Lego franchise has something in it where they know what the fuck they're doing.
And so it crashed out and died. However, you can still play Lego Universe on private servers. It's a fun little MMO, it's not too complex, and if you like Lego, you would likely rate this S tier. I, however, am not 12 years old anymore, so I'm going to rate this a C tier MMO.
Man, he's being so nice. He's being so generous. I bet he rates Club Penguin as S tier.
Despite being closed down several years ago, Warhammer Online has been going strong for quite a few years via private servers. But not only that, it seems to have a decent sized player base. I had fun in my short stint playing it, and I've had nothing but good...
This is basically a WoW clone game. There's a bunch of MMORPGs that saw what WoW did, built the exact same HUD as WoW, and then pretended to be something different. Warhammer was one of them. Solid D tier. Belongs right there.
Feedback about the servers and the way that they're run, and honestly the game is interesting. I like the focus on PvP that it has, and the people who play it also enjoy PvP. I'm not much of a Warhammer connoisseur, I don't really know too much about it, but I assume if you like Warhammer, you're going to like this game. I mean, I've said it before, I know fuck all about Warhammer.
There's better franchises. Especially for fantasy Warhammer, there's better franchises. Don't play this. Play other stuff.
And I enjoyed it. It is a game I want to do a more in-depth review on, but for now, I'm going to rate it on what I've seen and what I've heard. I'm going to say it's a B-tier MMO.
Ooh, Jesus, he's so generous.
A super underrated MMO is Project Gorgon. It's a RPG first, and then it bulks on the MMO aspect, but it does it really well, and the whole world just feels alive and interactive. It doesn't have the best graphics in the world, and it certainly isn't popular, but I like how much...
Hold on, but you could argue Warhammer has much better lore. Warhammer has infinite lore. The Lego company is less embedded in BlackRock economic cluster, so I think they had enough control to where they could put their foot down and say, we don't want our movie to be socio-political battleground, and just made a child-friendly movie. As far as I'm aware, I did look into the history of the Lego movie. I think they actually hired a kid. Not to have sex with like regular directors do. They hired a kid who like advised on the movie, who was like really in love with the Lego franchise, and the kid actually helped them fix their movie. And I think that actually helped them a lot.
Much detail they put into this title. Like, you can transform yourself into a deer, and the more you talk as a deer, the more you learn the language, and even when you speak to other people, you will end up speaking in deer. It sounds
so fucking
batshit
weird.
insane, but this is the level of detail they went into. It reminds me a lot of Outward, and if you played that, you're definitely going to enjoy this. Questing isn't linear, there's usually multiple
This looks very odd. This feels like a fever dream MMO.
ways to solve a problem, and I like that. It doesn't treat you like an idiot. It doesn't feel like fetch quest after fetch quest. I imagine when I'm old and done with YouTube, I'm going to retire and go play Project Gorgon for the rest of my life. That's how good of an MMO it is. I'm going to rate this a S-tier MMO.
Holy shit. S-tier for that. Shocking. God damn, I've never played it, so I wouldn't be able to judge. Same with Dragon's Dogma Online. Shocking, though. Wait, have I played Dragon's Dogma Online? I can't remember.
Shroud of Avatar was supposed to be the spiritual successor to Ultima Online. Unfortunately, it didn't quite get the memo, and it's nothing like Ultima Online. Listen, let's be real here. It's not a horrible MMO, it's just a unfulfilled promise of a Kickstarter, and it is free to play, but it's just lacking quite a lot of like polish. And yeah, considering Lord British abandoned it, I think that kind of tells you where the MMO is right now. But I'm not going to tell you it's the greatest MMO I've ever played. I'm going to say it's a D-tier MMO, and that's being very generous. Another questionable MMO in the sense of...
Where does Palea belong? Palea is not the kind of game I would personally enjoy. And since this is all about personal opinion, I would personally put Palea down here. Palea looks like a porn game on Steam that got released and then they just removed all the porn. That's what it looks like to me.
So, is it a MMO? And I think it is. And do you know what? It wasn't the worst experience I ever had. Initially, I went on there and trolled a little bit and tried to do PvP. It kind of worked. Oh, you see that? I hit it. What is this PvP? Get off. Go away, you fucktards. This is mine. Like, brother. I fucking played Counter-Strike when I was like 5 years old. You ain't beating me in this shit.
Hold on. Palea striked a YouTube over digging... Oh, so what's up, Benji? Digging through game files and I lost all loyalty immediately. It's also had a massive hacker problem, still does. Not too surprising. I mean, every single MMO probably has a hacker problem that they never deal with.
Come back here. I've actually lost it. I've lost it. I fucking lost it. And then I actually ended up making friends with some people. And they were really nice. They showed me around their house. And I have to say, it's got like a... It has a community of nice people and then some people who just don't understand comedy. Or...
I just... man, it's just... Fuck, there's a game. There's a porn game that I downloaded that I wanted to do a speed run on, or I was thinking of doing a speed run on for when I was doing my next speed run ban. And the graphical style is almost exactly like this. God, and I can't get it out of my head. I can't remember its name either.
Trolling, I guess. The worst thing about this game is by far the cash shop. It does the usual scummy thing of buy this item for 20,000 coins, but by the way, you can only buy 18,000 coins at a time. I can't stand it when games do this, especially when it's clearly aimed at a younger population. So, E-tier MMO. What can I say about this asset flip, which I haven't already said in other...
Quinfall belongs right here. Right there. F tier. Dog shit. The fuck out of here with that shit.
Videos. F tier.
There we go.
This is a free-to-play MMO,
Never played this
which is
one.
basically a clone of old-school RuneScape. It's by no means horrible, it does it quite well, but unfortunately, it doesn't have the same popularity. I don't think it was an awful MMO. I just feel like it needs some work, a little bit of polish. So D tier MMO.
Defiance.
Another MMO back from the dead, Defiance Online.
Never played this one, but I did watch some gameplay. I don't think I can judge this
has
one.
been relaunched to many people's surprise. I never played the original, but me and the boys jumped on and played this looter shooter MMO, and I like to say we had fun. The game loop did get a bit stale towards the end, but I can imagine if you did play the original, you'll probably enjoy this to this day. There's nothing too bad about it, and it was free to play, but I'm going to say this is a D tier MMO.
Yeah, makes sense.
Ethereal Echoes of Yore is...
And this dude is playing so many fucking games that look like they belong in a different universe or era. This isn't an MMO list for 2025. This is back in the 1900s I played games. Do you know how fucked up it is that kids... Like, I've had a kid walk up to me and say, what was it like living back in the 1900s? What was World War II like? That motherfucker styled on me.
Awful name for MMO, let's just be clear on that. This is by far one of the biggest surprises of 2025. This game originally had a rocky launch and even got dropped by its publisher. It was practically on the brink of death when someone came in and basically invested in the title. They went for 50% ownership, relaunched it, made it free to play, and now they have 100% ownership, and the game's doing really well. It's a fun title with RuneScape vibes, but it is quite hardcore, and it's not for the faint-hearted. But the main thing is they're taking on feedback and improving the title, and the game seems to be thriving because of it. But the main question is it fun? And yes it is. It's fun, it's free.
Never played it.
It's a good one to play with friends. I'm going to rate this a B tier MMO. I know the term MMO gets used quite loosely when it comes to FPS games.
Never played this one. This just kind of looks like CSGO to me.
But StarCraft X really does have more of an MMO feel than FPS.
Oh, never mind. It's not CSGO. It's like CSGO mixed with, what was that, like 8-bit, that like Minecraft FPS game that everyone played for like a week before they dropped it? I can't remember.
Based in the Chernobyl exclusion zone, it does make you wonder if the radio...
But Warframe is an MMO, just the instances are locked on 4 players, so it's not an MMO.
...is what caused your head to turn
BattleBit, that one.
Block. There's a lot of fun things to do in this game. You can do questing, you can do PvP, you can craft
That's
to your
the
heart's
one.
content. It is a fun little title, and it's free to play. There are concerns about it being paid to win, the cash shop allowing you to buy certain weapons, but from what I've understood and been told, as long as you don't level up too much, the open world PvP remains fun. Basically, don't go full sweat or the game will sweat you. Overall though, I'm going to say this is a C tier MMO. It is enjoyable and it is free. Another indie MMO which you can play in early access is Bitcraft Online. If you enjoy crafting and all things whimsical, then this is probably the title for you. However, I did find it a bit slow and there were some performance issues. I do feel like it has room for improvement, but I'm going to rate this a D tier MMO. Mum, can we have Grand Theft Auto 5? No, we have Grand Theft Auto 5 at home.
Oh. Jesus. I feel like everything passed somewhere around here. Like, he hit Ashes of Creation and he started getting suicidal and he just decided to, like, this is a manifesto of everyone he's going to walk into the offices of and shoot.
PB Reloaded is certainly a good attempt at making a Grand Theft Auto-esque sort of MMO, but it just slightly misses the mark. And the player base has dwindled over the years, and all that's left is sweaty kids. So it wasn't horrible, it just wasn't great. And Grand Theft Auto 5...
There is no reason to play this over Grand Theft GTA Online. There's just no reason.
Although technically Grand Theft Auto 5 Online is probably more sweaty with the flying cars and stuff. So maybe I'll just hate both of them equally. I'm going to say it's an E tier MMO. I'm not going to sugarcoat this, but...
Apogea. There's something about the graphical style of Apogea that I really like. There's something here that I really like about Apogea, and I don't know what it is. But I don't know how it plays. This is on... I've got this on the list.
I absolutely loved this title. Even though it's still in alpha access, I really like its potential. There were some scuffed bits, like me getting trolled while making a fucking sandwich. Long story. But I do like the concept of this, and a lot of people are comparing it to Tibia. Personally, I've never played Tibia, so I don't know
never
what
played it as well.
Would be, but I like the art style, I like the gameplay. I'm honestly super excited to play this when it goes full release. So I'm going to say this has a lot of potential and is a B tier MMO. Everyone's heard of old school.
He's gonna S tier this. There's no fucking way Soulman doesn't S tier this. This is what I'm talking about when I say we're all fucking simps for certain games. There is no such thing currently as an S tier MMORPG that currently exists today. None of them. Fucking none of them. If there was, we'd all be playing it.
RuneScape, and for me, I've always put off playing it just because of the way that it looks. I'm not some WoW streamer who's meta humping, so therefore I decided to play it because everyone else is. No.
Yeah, I can't believe Soulman started playing this game and he just jumped on the trend. I can't believe he would do that. I didn't think he was a trend chaser. But I suppose he's trying to get into the OnlyFans guild in old school RuneScape that's run by Soda Poppin'. He's trying to make a name for himself. So sucking the schmeat off of those groups. I get it. I understand. Now that he's a big content creator, he's got above 50k subs. I get it. He's playing the game. I just never expected him to just, you know, hop on this trend like that.
I went down this journey all by myself, and it started last year as part of a 100-hour challenge. And I have to say, I've been pleasantly surprised the more that I play it. The free-to-play 100 hours was certainly a grind, and doing it as an Iron Man made me respect the game even more. I loved the questing. I felt it was probably sort of the best questing I've seen in an MMO, and I did enjoy the social aspect when they did occur. Recently though, I've been playing with membership, and there's been a lot more socializing and a lot better quests. I honestly cannot gush about this MMO any more than I already am, and I don't want to ruin too much about my second playthrough. All I can say is it's definitely worth the hours of playtime. I would strongly suggest you go try it out, and that this is a S-tier MMO.
I fucking knew it. I knew it. I knew this motherfucker was gonna do that. A. It's an A tier. You're clicking around a fucking world. That's all you're doing is you're clicking. This is, it's got, don't get me wrong, it's good. It feels good to play, but it doesn't feel that good.
Albion
Online. What do I think of Albion Online? Personally, I think there's a lot of good in Albion Online. I'm not going to bother talking about the politics behind Albion Online. I think Albion Online is genuinely the single best mobile MMORPG to ever exist. Skill trees are deep, a lot of grinding. I think the credit card swipers kind of ruin the experience, but I would rate Albion Online as a C-tier MMORPG. It's really not that bad, but it's got some problems. Primarily that you're kind of gonna get steamrolled unless you get like to be one part of the bigger groups. Like if you're gonna play Albion Online and really enjoy it and play it for a super long time, you have to kind of bend over and let other people fuck you. But there are some good things about it. I like the fact that abilities are wide and varied based on your gear. There's no leveling system. It's all about how much you use certain things, and there's a bunch of fun stuff you can do that's exploitative and leads to emergent gameplay loops based on how you combo your abilities together. You know what? Baseline as a game, actually, just because of the amount of fun I had fucking with other people in Albion Online and becoming a problem, I'd say B tier. I would actually say B tier. Imagine waking up, and you know what's more impressive about Albion Online is that somehow this is a Kickstarter MMO. It's the one that actually wasn't a scam. Somehow. Is Silk Road, Cabal, or Moo Online still alive? I wonder. I wouldn't know.
Albion Online is the most recent MMO that I played, and by no means the last MMO that I'm going to play. It is by far the most successful Kickstarter MMO out there, and you can see why when you do start to play it. It's got a great economy, it does have good combat, and it is actually fun to do PvP in this title. I know, a rarity, right? Fun PvP in an MMO never happened. I played it solo initially, and it did get easier when I started to make friends, and I strongly advise that anyone who tries this game does the same.
Yeah, if you have social anxiety or you can't talk to strangers online and show them your penis in Discord, you're not going to have as good of a time as if you can do those things.
I've heard nothing but great things about playing in the hardcore PvP areas, and it is something that I do want to do in a future video. This is a great free-to-play, fun MMO, and I strongly advise you check it out. It's not quite S tier, but I'm going to rate this a A tier MMO. Well guys, we did it. We got to the end of the video. Whether you skipped to the end to see what all my scores were, or whether you sat through my monotone voice, I appreciate it either way. I would just like to point out that there are actually more MMOs I played. I just kind of didn't know if they should go on the list or not. Is VR Chat MMO? Is Hello Kitty
No, VR Chat's not an MMO. That's a place you go to jerk off with a headset on.
Online a MMO? Is Fallout 76 a MMO? CFB?
The real MMO is going into the Fallout 76 offices and beating up Todd Howard in person.
No Man's Sky. The list is slightly longer.
Nah, those aren't MMOs.
I feel like I've played quite a lot of MMOs in the last couple of years, mainly because I changed the direction of my channel. I might just well be a MMO YouTuber, but I do sincerely hope you appreciate the video. It took a while to hunt down all the clips of all the different MMOs I played. I could have easily played some trailers in the background, but I want to show you that I have actually stepped foot in these games.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
And yes, I'm fully aware that my assessment of some of these MMOs might be considered batshit crazy. I mean, Mortal Online 2, B tier, but you have to...
Yeah, that is insane. Mortal Online does not belong there, but you know what? It's his opinion. Makes sense.
It's coming from a place of my own experience with these titles. So if I did say your favorite MMO is trash, try not to get too offended, but feel free to leave a comment saying I'm wrong. But anyway, on that bombshell, I'm going to conclude the 50k sub special and say goodbye. And hopefully
well done.
I'll see you in the next video. And if you really want to support the channel some more, feel free to become a Patreon member or YouTube member, where you'll get sneak peeks of my latest project. Anyway, catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Holy shit, that was such a long-ass video. That must have been so much work. That's everything he's done. Now to add to the list. We're going to add to this list a little bit. Right? I've got 3 I'd like to add to this list. That I think maybe Sawman's going to look at in the future. Especially since he's going down the path of esoteric weird shit. But did you notice something about the list that Sawman made? Remember I said at the beginning of this stream, it feels like there's no new MMORPGs. How it feels like everything is the old shit. They're trying to find a new MMORPG that's been released in the last 5 years that people are really enjoying. Is the same as opening your fridge that's filled with food and saying there's nothing to eat. Except now, you realize that you're schizophrenic and there was no food in the fridge in the first place. So, I've got... No, there's actually 4. Thank you for reminding me. I put EVE on the list. I would put EVE Online over here. Not from playing it, but from seeing other people play it. It's Excel spreadsheets. I would put Rift over here in C tier. The problem with Rift is what it's become, not what it is baseline. Rift is basically another a WoW clone, but it had a unique mechanic in it. And people look back at Rift with a lot of nostalgia because they really love that mechanic. Ion, kind of the same thing. Few unique spins on the content. I would put Ion over here. In D tier. And also, I want to know to you I lied. I want you to know I lied. There is one S tier MMORPG out there. And none of you have played it. No, I'm joking. It's Habbo Hotel. I'm joking. Rose Online is actually, it's shockingly solid. I'd put it somewhere between B tier and C tier. For being so old and so chunky, for what it was, that game kept me more obsessed with it for way longer than it should have. It was so fun back in the day. I even managed to convince 4 other people to play that game with me when I was in school.